en tête, monté par Christophe Lemaire. Tash Candy maintenant attaqué par Armoder. Et presque pour les accessibles avec le premier combat de Christophe Lemaire.
Superbe victoire de Vespone aujourd'hui. Regardez la joie de Christophe Lemaire, c'est superbe à voir.
And they're off and racing. And it's Starcraft for Australia, narrowly from Dubawi, who's trying hard to rally. And Starcraft will win for the Australian syndicate. Luca Kamani and Christophe Lemaire.
Christophe Starcraft Lemaire, as I have always called him. It was nearly 20 years ago that Starcraft won the QE2. Christophe Lemaire was propelling himself into the big time. It really was a golden period for you there, wasn't it, Christophe?
Definitely a golden period for me, especially when I won with Starcraft in England. It was some of my first winners abroad, so it was a great experience and also a great souvenir.
Christophe Lemaire qui appuie sur la pédale accélérateur avec Divine Proportion qui s'envole dans cette poule des Elépoulis. Divine Proportion, c'est l'heure de 7 sur 7 pour Divine Proportion.
Can we just go back a little bit? Like, your father was a jockey, but were you always going to be a rider? Was Christophe Lemaire born to ride horses?
Yes, definitely. You know, I always had the big pleasure to go to the race courses to watch my father riding. And as far as I can remember, I always wanted to become a jockey, and especially an international jockey. I always liked to travel. So even if I wouldn't have been successful in France, I would have tried to go abroad and to take my chance in another country than France.
Christophe is a very quiet guy and a clever guy, and it was very easy to work with him.
He's a very good jockey, but he's also a very good guy. He worked for the stables before to work for him, and he loved his job. It was a very, very good moment.
He's very calm. He's sometimes we don't know what he think, but he's very nice. But he's very different of Christophe Soumillon and Gérald Mossé.
Float Tiller is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Float Tiller has gone right on by. And Float Tiller is coming home to score.
First European filly to win a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, Flotilla.
The biggest reason this filly won is the patience of Christophe Lemaire.
Dunedin is coming through in the middle. Dunedin, Rick Cano, and Lucas Crennan. Dunedin is coming hard. Dunedin, Rick Cano. Dunedin and Rick Cano, they hit the line up. Final finish, nothing in it.
The French do it again, and this young man who flew into Melbourne yesterday not knowing whether or not he would get the ride until about 5 o'clock last night. First time that he arrives in Melbourne, does it again. France win their second Emirates Melbourne Cup in 2 years.
The Melbourne Cup, I could write a book because it was a true story. From the beginning to the ending, it was something I couldn't imagine. I got the call from Michael Delzang to ride the horse because Craig Williams, unfortunately for him, gets suspended 1 week before the race. And it went perfectly right, and I won by a short nose. That moment after the race, when the photo finish went out, everything came into my mind. The crowd was amazing, and the next 2-3 days after the race, I was more than a superstar. You know, I was unknown reaching Melbourne Airport, and I was the most famous guy in the country, in Australia, after the race. So it was amazing, one of the greatest moments in my career.
Back in the day, of course, you're a Melbourne Cup winning jockey with Dunedin. You've won Breeders' Cup races as well. So you have very much fulfilled your dream of the world stage. But I want to just talk to you about that period in France. So you're running for the biggest owners in the world. What happens that makes you decide one day I'm going to go and up sticks and go to Japan?
The jockey's career is made of up and downs, and I could reach the top by riding for the Aga Khan for 4 years, but at some times it ended, and I needed a new challenge. You know, I needed to recover, to refine some motivation, And I think it happens to most of the athletes. You know, they need something else.
Yeah.
And at that point, when I lost when the contract with the Aga Khan ended, I needed something new. I definitely needed a new challenge, a new environment. And then I had the opportunity to go to Japan and get a full-time license there. So because I knew very well Japan, I said, okay, let's go for it. Let's work to get that license, to pass the exams. And with my wife, Barbara, we decided to quit France with the kids and to live there and start a new life.
Here comes Pheramon late. Itario, Pheramon lunging. Itario, Pheramon. If Pheramon gets up.
Christophe Lemaire, he won the fillies last week. He looks to have won the colts this week.
In Japan, it's very impressive what he do because many times they gallop, he waits. He is very able to manage and to come the last. It's very interesting to see what he do.
And through the middle, Mozu Ascot might beat them all. Mozu Ascot goes up to Irolet, and Mozu Ascot, Christophe Lemaire does it again.
The 17th Group 1 in Japan for Christophe Lemaire. What form the man is in.
The success for Christophe Lemaire, it's amazing at the moment because, you know, he's very great. He's a great jockey, simple, no trouble. So it's good mentality for Japan. He's a great man, and you can, you know, he love doing a good food and drink a good bottle of wine. Enjoy the life, you know. When you make enjoy the life, you know.
Horse racing is big in Japan. This was the most important for me. I wanted to go to a country where I could ride, of course, Group 1 at home, but also to get the opportunity to ride good horses abroad, as in Dubai, in Hong Kong, or in Saudi, or in America. And horse racing in Japan could give me the opportunity to get these rides and to continue my international career.
The Japanese races that I've seen, they're not usually run like a French race, which obviously is slow and a quick finish, but you get pacemakers that go off miles clear, and that for me would take quite a lot of judgment for a rider to work out the pace in those kind of races.
Yes, you definitely need to adapt yourself to the conditions of the racing.
Did you find that easy?
Yes, because I was quite used to, right. You know, because I've been to Japan for the last 20 years, every winter, so I knew I could adapt myself during a full year. It's quite difficult to win races there because in every race, from the maiden to the Group 1s, you've got 16 runners in the race, and you need to find your way. The jockeys there are not that kind. They don't give you any room if they don't have to.
If it's Lemaire, line up. It's a chance to get some cash to share, and Gran Alegria wins from Rambling Alley and Magic Castle.
Of course, the pace of the races are faster than in Europe. So with my skill of an European rider, I could adapt it to Japanese racing, and look like it made the difference.
The Japanese knew it, the world suspected it. Tonight she confirms it. Armadai is an equine masterpiece and wins by a length and a half.
Wow, 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 what a performance.
She's now undefeated at her last 7 runs. And where her next defeat comes, I have no idea.
Here comes Armadai and Contrail. Armadai in a blaze of glory. She's starting to shorten stride. She's in front. Good on you, girl. Sayonara in your last race. Armadai wins.
And these great Japanese horses you've ridden, I mean, is Armadai the best that you've ridden?
Maybe the best because she was able to win Group 1s from mile to mile and a half, which is very rare. But in terms of feeling on the horse, it was really special. She has shown some abilities that I couldn't feel with another horse.
Do you feel you will be now in Japan forever? Is that your home now till your dying days? Will you always be in Japan, or would you come home one day? Would you call Japan home?
I don't know yet. You know, I'm so happy right now living in Japan with my family. Since we live there, we are very comfortable and we feel very happy. But one day my kids will go back to Europe for studies. You know, I'm mostly at the end of my career, so maybe I ride again for 10 years, but someday I will have to think about coming back home or leave Japan.
Peace.
Thank you.
Good job.
ありがとうございます。